Hello and welcome to ETV News. With the news, I'm Shmal Islamam. The joint consultative meeting of House of Federation and State Councils that deliberated in Mekelle town has been concluded. The forum mainly discussed federal to region and region to region relationship. It also deliberated on conflict resolution method implemented in Tigray region and what has so far been achieved in that regard. Speaker of House of Federation Kassa Tekle Birhan underscored the significance of scaling up the conflict resolution experience of Tigray to enhance coexistence among nations, nationalities and peoples of Ethiopia. Regional government officials lauded the peace and development endeavors of the region and vowed to expand the experience there to their respective regions. Shire and Ndasilasi town in Tigray state is putting in place a amicable business atmosphere that has helped the township attract the attention of investors and boost investment interventions. Business persons in that city that have registered an aggregate capital of 1 billion birr are engaged in various investment activities. The business are also taking part in green development apart from their investment interventions. Ethiopian Airlines on Wednesday entered a code-share partnership with various Australian airlines. Ethiopian Civil Aviation Authority Director General Colonel Wesenele Hunenyaw and Australian Ambassador to Ethiopia Lisa Filipetto signed the agreement. Colonel Wesenele on the occasion said the agreement will help start direct flight services between the two countries. According to him, the agreement will enable airlines in the two countries to provide unlimited flight services. Ambassador Filipetto, for her part, said the agreement will boost the age-long bilateral relations between the two countries. Starting direct flights between Ethiopia and Australia will play a pivotal role in strengthening cooperation, especially in the areas of investment, trade and tourism. Planting tree seedlings is happening in many parts of Ethiopia this main rainy season. Armaber district in North Shawa zone of Amhara state is among the sites where the transplantation is taking place. The district has planted more than 500,000 with the participation of farmers, public servants, urban residents and summer volunteers. Similarly, Awi zone has launched tree seedling transplantation that stays for 20 days from now. Sululta town is entertaining youth graduates organized under micro and small enterprises. The youth have demanded the town administration to prepare them working and selling places. Meanwhile, the administration has vowed to look for ways to solve the problem. Slashida Musa had this account.
Masai Girma and Dr. Solomon Asnaka have graduated in veterinary science and chemical engineering from Addis Ababa and Bahar Dar universities in that order. The graduates didn't want to waste time looking for government jobs, rather they preferred to run their own business by getting organized under an association along with their colleagues. Currently, the graduates have engaged in poultry farming and soap production in Sululta town of Oromia Special Zone.
We started our business in poultry farming because we want to use it as a bridge to operate in other businesses. It will also help us identify which business the weather condition is suitable for. We're producing soap and detergent. We're also in the process to start producing salt detergent.
The youth are optimistic that they will be benefiting from such initiatives and urges other graduates to follow suit. However, they said they have been facing problems of working and selling places. Mayor of Sululta town and Micro and Small Enterprises Development Office head Ababa Tolcha said his administration is looking for ways to solve the problem.
We are constructing blocks to be given for the youth engaged in different sectors. We have also prepared land and sheds to support such enterprises.
It was learned that a large number of micro and small business movers have currently been operating in Sululta town, out of which 83 are graduates from different higher education institutions across the country.
You're watching ATV News. We'll now pass on to look at some continental news items. African Union Commission headquarters in Addis Ababa saw an event in connection to Kuwait Africa Summit to be held in Kuwait in November this year. The event, which was organized by Kuwaiti Embassy in Addis Ababa on the occasion, reportedly donated $1.7 million to the expansion of the medical center of the African Union. The event primarily happened to deliver invitations to all African states that are invited to take part in the third Kuwait Africa Summit 2013. Envoy of Emir of Kuwait, Mohammed Abdullah Al Hassan, said the summit this year focuses on economic issues between Kuwait and Africa, as African states are currently registering economic growth of over 6% per annum. He believes the summit will be a hallmark in significantly advancing the relation of his country with African continent. Ethiopia, through its representative to the event, said it is committed to boost the relation of the continent with the Gulf nation. Fatima Haram, Commissioner of Commerce and Industry of African Union, pledges that AUC is up to improving the cooperation between Africa and the Arab League, particularly with the state of Kuwait. The government of Sudan on July 31st has become the 32nd African country to sign the Comprehensive Africa Agriculture Development Program, CAADP. Sudanese Minister of Agriculture and Irrigation, Abdel Halim Ismail Al-Mutafi, AUC Commissioner for Rural Economy and Agriculture, Tumusimi Roda, and Peace and COMETSA Secretary General Sindiso Nwenya were on the signing ceremony. A CAADP compact spells out a country's priority areas for investment in the agriculture sector agreed on by stakeholders to address national priorities. It is also meant to define actions, commitments, partnerships and alliances to guide country policy and investment responses. Minister Al-Mutafi expresses Sudan's commitment towards CAADP implementation and pledges to mobilize more stakeholders to support the process. The African Union Peace and Security Council Ministerial meeting recently extended the mandate of the African Union High-Level Implementation Panel, AUHIP, on Sudan and South Sudan. The Council extended AUHIP's mandate until January after Thabo Mbeki presented the panel's final report surveying its work from October 2009. The recent deterioration in relations between Sudan and South Sudan called for the extension of the mandate of the panel. The Council noted it is encouraging both heads of states to meet as soon as possible to find a lasting solution, to find a way out of the impasse that seems to prevail, especially on the issue of blocking oil pipelines and the issue of RBA. Somali Minister of Defense signs a contract with the Atlantic Marine and Offshore Group to deliver structure, assets and services to develop an effective and sustainable coast guard in Somalia. The ministry intends to create a coast guard for its seas the guard very essential to make the sea lines of Somalia safe and develop it into exclusive economic zone. The establishment of the Coast Guard would contribute to the stability and economic recovery of Somalia and supports the country's six-pillar policy, the report says. The Atlantic Marine and Offshore Group, which has its headquarters in the Netherlands, says the main objectives of the Somali Coast Guard will include monitoring, patrolling and securing the exclusive economic zone. Zimbabweans on Wednesday have gone to polls in presidential and parliamentary elections. The head of the African Union Observer Mission, former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo, said his initial assessment of Zimbabwe's presidential election was that the vote was free and fair. Other regional observers have also praised the peaceful nature of the election. Vote counting started overnight and the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission has 5 days to declare the winner of the poll. Police have warned they would take action against anyone trying to leak early results, adding it is also illegal to publish unofficial results. It is to be recalled that Robert Mugabe has led the country for 33 years since independence from Britain in 1980. And finally, as Mali eagerly awaits the results of the July 28 presidential poll, the public go about their daily chores. The vote is the first since a coup in March last year led to the occupation of North by separatist and Islamist rebels. Many hope that the relatively high turnout is a good indication that the country is on a path to restore law and order. A successful vote is anticipated to pave the way for donors to disburse some €3 billion in reconstruction aid promised in May. Meanwhile, partial results have given former Premier Ibrahim Boubacar Keita a comfortable lead over his rivals in presidential elections intended to restore democratic rule in that country.